Let's do the Oz report. All right. Today is June 24th, 2023, and we're going to start as always with the items that are trending up. And if we're looking at the item list right here of top 10 trending items this week, then the biggest thing that you notice is T2 modules. This is actually a very interesting collateral effect because a lot of these T2 modules use advanced moon materials that are also used for the T2 dreads. They all spiked, 20, 30, 40% last week, and this is the knock-on effect. Now, if we're looking at items trending down, we already see that advanced moon materials like non-linear metamaterials, ceramic fibers, crystalline carbonite, those are all items that are already dropping a lot again, 30, 40%. And so you can expect these tier 2 modules to not be expensive for a long time. This is just a temporary anomaly. However, it is a very good lesson for EVE economics on identifying the knock-on effects and maybe profiting from it before this happens, because this was very predictable. This is 30-40% uptick in the raw material, and the week after, or 1 or 2 weeks after, it gets you see the results in tier 2 modules. Other than that, dead space modules, as usual, there's some that are trending up based on popular fits. Limited supply means dead space modules can be very, very spiky. I say it almost every week that these are a great way to invest your money, because they go up and down, and they go up and down frequently, and there's limited supply. The other item category that is trending down a lot this week is planetary commodities. So we're seeing here in the top 10 trending down proteins, organic mortar applicators, bacteria, oxygen. Those are all PI items that have had their volume cut in half in the Viridian expansion. That means they are easier to transport. On top of that, we've been having a lot of Omega time, Omega codes being given out, and a lot of sales in the store. So it's quite possible that a lot of people have restarted their PI farms, and these are the first results that we're seeing of that, right? I can imagine a lot of people that, like me, have stashes of PI materials all over the galaxy that now have a lot easier time to move them as well. So it might also be possible that this is, activating a part of the market that just wasn't active before. So that's trending down. If we're looking at highest trade volume versus yearly average, then we are again looking at agency boosters. This is just the same as we have seen in last weeks, but that the reason for that is just that the regular volume of agency drugs is just significantly lower than what we're seeing right now, when there's still the after effects of various events going on that were dropping these. So this is, from a data perspective, a little bit boring. We probably have to look at the top 20 next week here to make that a little bit different. But this is, if we swap over directly to most underpriced value, most underpriced items versus 52-week average, then you're seeing 3 of them still in the top 10 here: the Pyrolancia Dose 1, the Overclocker Dose 2, and the Pyrolancia Dose 2. They're all 20% or more below yearly average, when these are really quite popular. So there's still money to be made here. The recovery is taking a long time here, but that's also because we've had fairly large amounts being dropped from special events. So other than that, we're seeing some other boosters. The standard drop boosters are underpriced. The standard blue pill boosters are underpriced, and the others don't really follow a pattern. We're seeing at number 10 the skill extractors. That is, it's a bit surprising that the skill extractors haven't recovered a little bit faster. On the other hand, if you're seeing what's going on with large skill injector pricing, so we're seeing them finally drop down, and that's an indicator that people have just started spinning up or reactivated their skill farms. And so definitely the demand for skill extractors is increasing. It will increase until we're getting somewhere close to an equilibrium again in terms of skill farming profits. Right now, skill farming profits are very, very positive, and so I'm expecting a drop in large skill injector prices and an increase in skill extractor prices over time. But the last sale was just so huge. We've covered it before here on the show, and there are just a ton of stockpiles out there of investors poured trillions and trillions into these skill extractors because the deal was so good. And so certainly we're already seeing people cash in on those profits. And that's just going to take a while to recover in pricing. I'm still convinced that they will. Who knows if they'll hit 500, but they might be moving into that general direction. Now, the last two areas that we always look at are in short supply and largest drop in supply. Those two are related, of course. There are faction modules here in short supply. Republic Fleet Warp Scrambler are pretty much bought out. Shadow Serpentis damage controls are bought out. Republic Fleet large shield extenders are bought out. Those can all be bought with LP, so it's really also a question of how quickly can they be replenished. Typically, they get replenished quite quickly, so it's a the market forces behind it are that if they are cheap, then people don't want to trade in their LP for them because it's not profitable. If they go low in supply, then their price goes up as it has now, and it becomes very attractive to exchange LP for these items again, thereby increasing the supply and dropping the price again. So very nice, cyclical. You can play with that. You can look at LP pricing. You can use tools like Fuzzwork to look at the LP conversion rates for various items in various LP stores. And that dynamic is interesting to play around with, and that's what we're seeing here with items that are with faction modules that are in short supply here. Domination Multispectrum Shield Hardener is another one that is low. And then apparently also people are running a lot of Raging Exotic Filaments right now because those are in very short supply and the price has increased significantly as well there. That usually has to do with, what's the flavor of the month in terms of abyssal filaments. Largest drop in supply, a lot of the same items we saw above. There's two additional battleships here. No, one even in the first one. We're seeing two battleships here, the Armageddon Navy issue and the Typhoon Fleet issue. They have both had their supply cut by 80 to 90%. That typically means somebody moved in and bought out the entire market, right? We're seeing that for some faction modules here as well, mostly the ones that we just mentioned above. Other than that, I'm seeing the Triglavian survey databases in here. That's the red loot coming out of Abyssal Space, and that's really, those are standing NPC buy orders. So the only time you're seeing sell orders there is where the margin gets large enough for it to be worth it for people to put up a sell order for something that an NPC will buy from you at a fixed price. Typically, it's really not worth your time or the realist risk, the broker fee risk to post sell orders there. So this doesn't really make a lot of sense overall. But since most people drop it to existing buy orders, not necessarily the NPC buy orders, but maybe player buy orders that are pooling them to then take them to an NPC system to sell them there for you. That is those orders are often very very small compared to the size of the overall market. The amount of Triglavian survey databases that is moved is huge in comparison to the order the order magnitude that we're seeing in JITA. And that's why even though it says here, 77% drop in supply, that's certainly not because people go and buy up sell orders of these, unless somebody, fat fingered an order that was just way too cheap. All right, I'm going to finish off with the Plex category. So basically, if we're moving over to the game client here, if you're following along on Twitch, large skill injectors, just explained that. Price significantly dropped. Skill extractors, they aren't recovering as quickly as they have. To the contrary, they are actually dropping a little bit. And Plex itself, we can't see on the graph because it's that 20-year-old bug that I was mentioning earlier on the stream. But you can see it's sitting at exactly 5 million. So what are forces impacting the Plex market right now? Number one, we have an excellent sale going on in the New Eden store right now. That means that that is the Omega 50% off Omega plus MCT deal. That is putting significant upward pressure on Plex because you need to be holding Plex to take advantage of that. And it's one of the cheapest ways to subscribe your account, especially if you're using Plex, for example, for an alt character or a skill farm. But there's also a real cash discount right now in the normal web store for EVE Online and the EVE store, whatever EVE Online store, whatever that is called, and that is keeping prices in check. So overall, CCP continues to do a lot of sales, whether it be for Plex or with Plex, and that is making the Plex merry-go-round go around. There's high volume on all of these items, and so it's an exciting time to be trading in EVE Online. All right, that's it for the Oz report this week. By the way, I saw some people asking earlier as well on the Twitch stream. The CCP Rattati interview did not happen today because something came up for him. We're doing it next Saturday instead. So make sure you tune in next Saturday for on live on Twitch. But I will also upload it to the YouTube and podcast channels afterwards. All right, I'm going to return to the regular stream. See you guys next.